If you are watching this video, I want to believe that you're already aware of the issue currently going on with Makengel and Dennison. So yesterday evening, I started receiving notifications on my platform. People were commenting, Lucky, I'm disappointed in you. You've lost your humanity. Lucky, I can't believe you knew about the situation. I kept quiet. At first, I was really confused where those comments were coming from until a friend of mine reached out to me and she told me my name was mentioned on Honest Bunch podcast, that she just finished watching it. So I had to go check it out myself. I discovered that Dennison mentioned that I was supposed to interview him, but unfortunately, after meeting with Makengel, I changed my mind. I understand how such statements will trigger a lot of people, especially those of you who believe in me, because I know a lot of people look up to me and a lot of people love and respect me, especially those of you that have been supporting me. So I think I owe it to you to explain what really happened. Apparently, it was not quite long ago that I knew about this issue, just about a few weeks ago, and I was the one that reached out to Dennison. I told him, I saw the short video you made, that you wanted to talk about what really happened between you and Makengel. Would you like to share the story on my platform? Dennison said yes. I said, okay, where are you right now? He said he's in Port Harcourt. I said, oh, I'm in Abuja and I just left Port Harcourt. How are we going to meet? Although I have a flight that already booked to Enugu State, because there was this Nollywood actress that period that was in the hospital, and the family were reaching out to me that they really need help. They need to raise money for her hospital bills. But unfortunately, the day before my flight, I think she passed away. Anyways, I was still going to go to Enugu, and I knew I was going to see Dennison. Surprisingly, coincidentally, I don't know how it happened though, but Makengel came to Abuja, and then I reached out to him. I told him that I'm going to be interviewing Dennison, that he has some things to say about what really happened between the both of you. Would you like to share your own side of the story? Then Makengel explained to me that this is not the first time that Dennis have attempted to make an interview about what happened between the both of them. That at some point the case even went to the police station. He explained a lot of things to me anyway. So I then reached out to Dennis again. I told him that, oh, I was with Marco and this is what Mark had to say. And Dennis started saying that, oh my goodness, that I'd already met Mark, that he doesn't believe that that he's very sure that his story will not be told again. I said, why is he making such statements? That, I mean, if you come to somebody's platform to make, a claim, do you understand me? In as much as people love to hear this story, this is somebody, you're talking about somebody else's life. It is important that somehow they are aware of what you want to say. Nobody is saying you cannot share your story, but there's what they call defamation or something like that. I told him that, bro, I am still interested to interview you, but I've listened to both parties. Is it possible that we see how we can have a meeting together? I mean, the both of you, instead of you telling me your own side of the story, Makengel telling me his own side of the story. As at this point, I'd already flown to I don't know if my English is correct, to Enugu. I had invited all the people I was going to tell their story, Emmanuel Day and other people. I'd already even asked my PA. I flew down with my PA to book a hotel reservation for Dennison. Dennis said he didn't have transport. I sent him money. So he was even on his way and he was even very happy. Then I called Makengel. I told him that, is it possible for him to be present, because I would like him to be part of this conversation. He said he couldn't get any flights to Enugu, that he's on his way to Port Harcourt. Then I told him that, please let us see how we can have a meeting about this instead of just rushing to social media to talk about it. He said he wasn't interested. I should continue with whatever it is I want to do with Dennis. I told him that it is, and then I called Dennis. I said, Dennis, this is what Mark is saying. You within yourself, do you have interest to settle with Mark? Let's see if this issue can be handled behind the scene. Dennis told me he doesn't mind. He's willing to settle. I called Mark. It took me 3 hours on the phone to convince Mark. Mark finally agreed that the meeting was going to be in Port Harcourt. I didn't even know at this point I was even fooling myself, So I was already done with all my shoots. At this point, I was supposed to go back. I don't want to talk about the expenditures I had to make. I had to travel down to Port Harcourt. Then when we got to Port Harcourt, Even took me time to see the both persons. These are people that I'm trying to even still see if I could help them. I'm just innocent in the whole thing anyway. So we agreed we are going to have a meeting in the night, and yes, because according to Mackenzie, he said he had some visitors. He was having a very busy time. Although he said we are going to have the interview in his house. Later he said his house is really, really far. That is not in the center of Port Harcourt, in the town. So let's find somewhere else to meet, maybe my hotel. I said no problem. I told Dennison. Dennis came around. Then Mackenzie later came. But that day we had that meeting was like a Friday night. So there was a club in the hotel I lodged, and it was really, really loud. So we couldn't have a meeting there. Then Mackenzie said, let's drive somewhere. So we drove to a quiet place to have the meeting. Then Isigwe came with his sister and his manager, while Mackenzie came with another content creator. I've forgotten the guy name though. But he's a comedian as well. Then me, I came with my PA. We all sat down together. Then I was one that started the conversation. I thanked everybody for coming. Then I told them that, okay, I was the one that reached out to Dennis. Dennis said he had a lot of things to say about him. That you, Mark Angel, you cheated him. Okay? This thing, I said it in their presence. If anything I'm saying here is a lie, Dennis is alive. He can make a video to counter what I'm saying. Then I said, okay, let us address all these issues. Okay? So Dennis, can you tell Mackenzie what you told me? Dennis said the same thing. In fact, most of the things he said in that podcast, he said them. Then I told Mackenzie, I said I could interview this guy and people, it will draw sympathy and all of those things. But at the end of the day, the reason for the interview is that he needs to be compensated. So I believe that we can have this compensation in this meeting. Okay, Mackenzie then told his own side of the story. I don't even want to talk about it, because if I dare mention all the things Mackenzie said, it will be as if I'm siding Mackenzie. Okay, so I hope that maybe Mackenzie also come out to say his own side of the story, and maybe people that are bigger than me would see how they can settle this issue. Because me, I tried my best in my own capacity. I wish I had recorded what happened that night. So it was a very long conversation that the meeting was for like almost 3 to 4 hours. Then what happened again? At the end of the day, they had quarrel. They even quarreled in that very meeting. Mackenzie will say, I used to call you, but you won't pick my call. I'll ask you how life is. You tell me that life is good. Dennis, on the other hand, will say, when I called you for money, you told me you didn't have. They were having issues. So we tried our best to settle, to make the issue calm down. At the end of the day, I told Mark, you started life with this guy. So he used to wash your clothes before. You guys used to eat from the same plate. How does it feel that you are this successful and this guy is struggling with house rent and a lot of things? You understand me? Then Mackenzie told me that it's not his fault, that he cannot carry everybody along, that even though he owns that, he had a lot of work to do. Like he said a lot of things that that is not the way most people think, that he had so much work to do to get to where he is. There's a way he explained it, that he has tried his best. They took to court, he was compensated, this one, that one, and so many things. I say, okay, but right now, let's forget what has happened in the past. Can we settle this issue? Dennis is not living well. What can we do for this young man? So then the thing that Mackenzie told me, that he's willing to do anything for Dennis, but he cannot let Dennis come back as a shareholder of Mackenzie Comedy, because he has taken the brand really far already. You understand me? Then I say, Dennis, do you have a problem with that? Then Dennis, I don't know, I can't even remember what Dennis said, but okay, they gave him a blank check. What do you want? Then Dennis said that right now his rent have expired and he doesn't even have where he's staying, that he's living with his sister. Then I even asked the sister, can you confirm that what Dennis is saying is true? The sister said yes. And I said, this does not sound good at all. But then I asked him, how much is your rent? He mentioned the amount. And I was angry. I was like, bro, I did not call this meeting, spend money for flight, hotel and so many things just for you to come here to say that what you need is money for rent. Come on. For God's sake, you have 2 kids. You are a grown-up man, for God's sake. You need help that is even beyond that. You can't come here to be talking about rent. You understand? Even his manager also said the same thing, that they were not happy that he is mentioning rent. And there were so many other things in it. Then I mentioned from my perspective as a creator, because even before that meeting, there were some things I was telling him. I will probably talk about in the ending of this video. This guy, you see, for you to survive as a creator right now, you need to invest in making sure that there's quality in what you are doing. And before now, I've already even told him that apart from making an interview with you, I personally want to see you succeed. If Port Harcourt is not favorable to you, bro, you can come to Abuja and I can support you to have a life started here. I have equipment, you could use mine. Do you understand me? Work on your scripts. For anybody to pay attention to you, you have to be valuable. I told him, even if I do an interview for you, people will feel for you, probably your views will go up for maybe 1 week. But after then, if what you are creating is not valuable enough, nobody, I'm telling you, nobody on this earth will carry your matter on their head. People will feel pity for you, but genuinely, I really want to see you succeed. So let's see how we can achieve something reasonable, okay? Then I mentioned to Mark, I said this guy needs equipment for his stuff. I don't know a lot of things, but from my perspective, he needs equipment for his filming. I was just saying it from my own thoughts. Maybe somebody else would have said something else. I didn't want to mention that maybe he needs also amount of money. I just say he needs quality equipment. Then Mark said he has given him equipment. The equipment he gave to Dennis, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to say so many things, because if I say it will look as if maybe I'm not siding. I'm just seeing the truth of what really happened. I wish Nedu can still convince Mackenzie to come back to that podcast. Let the both of them stay there and have this conversation, because even in all of this, my happiness is to see Denny succeeding. That is my happiness. So I told him, bro, we need to support this guy with some equipment. We need to help him. Even then, I by the end of the day, I don't even know how the matter went. So of them started arguing. At some point, I looked like a fool there, and I told them that in fact I'm done talking. Then they ended the conversation with Mark saying that he was going to assist him with his rent, and for the equipment he was going to assist him, but not now, that things are difficult at the moment, that he'll probably assist him later. And then we did prayers and we left. And then Dennis messaged me and said thank you very much, and that was it. Dennis never told me if Mackenzie ever sent him any money or anything like that. I mean, I tried to get a flight in Port Harcourt. There was no flight for like 1 week. I had to travel down to Uyo to fly back to Abuja. So it's so painful that in all my efforts, the way people are seeing it now is that I did all this because I'm trying to get favor from Mackenzie, and it's really, really painful because God sees my intention. So I think I also remember calling Dennis to ask him, bro, how is life? How are you doing? What are you working on? How has things been? Do you understand me? I have staffs, I could extend some of the services that they offer to me to you as well. We could make some videos together. I could show my face just to help you increase your views. Why is your page not monetized? The manager managing Mackenzie is also my manager. He's managing almost all the artists in Nigeria. His name is Apollo. You understand me? I could speak to him. Apollo is a very nice person. Why don't you get your page monetized? Something like that. Me, I was even more focused on, even though you want, and I still told him after that meeting, even if you want to still share your story, I will still be interested to share it if you are not satisfied. I told him this thing. But beyond that, I want to see how we could help you. Why is your this thing? You should be making money from YouTube, from Facebook. You already have 250,000 subscribers. What can we do to get that views coming again? So that you bounce back. Maybe you need to change your teammates. Maybe you need to recruit new actors and actresses, people that will be able to fit into the new vision. Maybe you need new scripts. We talked about all these things. So it's quite unfortunate that in that podcast he just mentioned that after I met Mackenzie, I changed my mind. So I want to also apologize because from my perspective, I was just trying to be human. There are many times that somebody will come to me with stories. Like just 2 weeks ago, there was this girl who traveled to Libya. She was 20 years old and she went into prostitution, and then she came back with HIV and came back pregnant. I was supposed to interview her, and But then I asked her, is your family aware of the situation? She said no. I told her, I said, even if you cover your face and change your voice, your family recognize you, and this is not the best way your family should be hearing this news. I told her I wouldn't tell her story anymore. Those are people that I told directly that I'm not telling your story, and I gave them good reason. There's another one that came one time and said her dad molested her and raped her, and so many things. I saw how emotional she was, and I told her that I will not film you until you go for therapy. Do you understand me? I could assist you with it. I didn't want to look like I'm taking advantage of her emotion. There's another story too. Somebody brought a mother abandoned her children for Europe, and then the sister, one of her children, the girl, the elderly sister, traveled to whether Bayelsa or Lagos. I don't know that it's prostitution she went there to do, and the young little boy was just there all alone. I said, okay, if I film this guy's story, people will feel pity and everything, but what it boils down to is that he needs help. I think I can help this guy. I told them, put them in school. Let's look for one person in Port Harcourt that can accommodate this guy. I'll be sending 60,000 naira every month for his upkeep. And that is it. We never had to film. I can go on and on to tell you stories that have come to me. I'm telling you, even governors, some of their family members reach out to me that they want to say this. Mercy Johnson. I like, if I begin to call names of people that family members have reached out that they wanted to do this, I think my mistake now is that I need to start telling every story that comes my way. Because if I try to say, okay, let me put, like, I don't know, even no matter I try to explain myself, there are people who will never see my point of view. So I'm sorry that I did not, from the way I approached it, I thought it was the best way. Even Dennis himself did not see what I tried to do for him. And if I calculated the expenses I made specifically for that trip alone, not even calculating Enugu's own, just the trip to Port Harcourt and everything I spent was almost about ₦1 million. So it's painful that at the end of the day, people said I only did that because I was trying to protect my interest with Mackenzie. For God's sake, even if Mackenzie is somebody to be respected, he's a comedian. I'm not a comedian. Do you know the kinds of people I talk to every day? You won't even believe the numbers of celebrities that reach out to me. I'm even talking of international creators. Well, some of you haven't seen me in real life, so I really don't know how you judge my standard or anything, but I am sorry if in all this explanation, some of you feel that what I did was wrong. I apologize. It is the lessons we learn that will make us to become better people, and that will make the job that I do to become better. I've learned my lesson, and I know what to do henceforth whenever somebody reaches out to me for story, because most times even the people you are trying to help don't even know that you are trying to help them. Maybe I should have just filmed him and that was it. Probably, I don't really know. So I am really sorry. I'm caught up in the middle of all this. I tried my best to see how I could settle it. This is not the first time people are reaching out to me with stories, and I'll see if I can settle it without it coming to the media. I always tell people something. Some people think I don't help people with money. You have no idea how much I spend. The reason I'm not so successful is because I'm trying my best to be there for a lot of people, and the way it is right now, it is not favoring me. You have absolutely no idea. If we are able to resolve an issue, what is the point of bringing it to social media? So I think this is my mistake. I apologize. If you go back to how I started my journey, I made a lot of mistakes, and the people who love me will always tell me, Lucky, don't do it this way, do it this way. I have listened to you, and I've been able to grow, evolve, and become something, a force for good. So I'll always continue to take your feedback seriously, and I'll continue to learn from it. Okay, I appreciate all of you, and I apologize if my judgment was wrong. I remember telling Dennis, if you still want to tell your story, I will tell it, but I'm just trying to see how you on the other hand. See the whole in fact, I'm so sorry. The negativity this thing is drawing, I'm seeing all the comments. I don't know, I think this happens to people that are chosen. The chosen ones. They're always the ones that are always misunderstood. No matter the decision they make, nobody in this world except God. People judge you by your action, not by your intention. I really wish you guys, I don't know. And even after that meeting, We are supposed to post those pictures, but Mackenzie said we shouldn't post it, and I didn't know why he said we shouldn't post it. He was like, we should wait until Dennis have gotten those equipments and everything, you know, blah blah blah. So that was it. So we never, I never knew that maybe he was going to Honest Bunch podcast, or he was not even satisfied. I seriously did not know. In all of this, I was the one who, I don't know, I think I've learned my lessons, and I'm really sorry. So this video is not for everybody. It is only for people who truly love me, those that have been supporting me, and those that intentionally want to hear what really happened. So I'm so sorry that I've been misunderstood, misrepresented, and I just fooled myself. And maybe I should have just interviewed him, and all this would have been not existing. I'm so sorry once more.